What's up, y'all? It's Kurz here, and welcome to Rumble. Welcome to the stream, or if you're watching on the video after the stream, welcome to the video. Today, I'm gonna be reacting to somebody that I've been watching for quite some time on YouTube. And this is gonna be part 3 of a documentary series of a guy who has who is from the USA and went over to Ukraine. His family, his parents, at least either his mother or father, are born Ukrainian and then moved to the USA. So he's got a lot of family in that part of the world. So when all this crazy shit hit the fans, my main man here, he decided to pack up his bags and take a flight over cross seas to Ukraine to put up arms against the invaders, which unfortunately is Russia. I don't necessarily have a standpoint on it personally. I don't know who the good guys or bad guys are. Everybody has their own thing going on. But this man left his family. I don't really want to give too much away, just for people that want to go back and watch the past interviews of this guy. But I guess I am going to say this, that he went over there, and because he went over there, he actually is going through in the USA, here in our country, he has not legal troubles, I don't know what it's called, domestic troubles with his wife. She's filing for divorce, probably because he decided to go overseas and hasn't seen her in a few months. So that's why he's here on this channel, giving us all a recap of what happened over there in Ukraine. But it is unfortunate that I feel like he felt like it was really important for him to go over there because of his heritage, and now has all sorts of issues here with his own family. And good man, he did come home. He does have a daughter or a son, and decided to take care of things here at home, because that is probably number one priority, is your own family. But let's hear what from himself. This is part 3. He's just going to go into what happened over there in Ukraine.
I get the track gates, I activate the rocket, the missile, it starts hissing. It's a beautiful sound, by the way. Love it. Anyway, it's awesome. And then this argon gas just starts going in the rocket and cool it off, getting ready to shoot. You have 4 minutes before it's spent, so you have 4 minutes to do your shooting. I think I was total like a minute something, 30 something seconds, minute 36, I think. So I get this whole thing. I get the track gates as little as I can get them right on the turret of the tank, because it's dug in. You can only see the turret sticking out. So
I'm just gotta pause it just for a sec, because I do believe in, this is not my content, this is somebody else's content. I am just reacting to it. So for all those who want to see it firsthand, it is Speak the Truth. I'm not sure his first name, but I've been watching him for a few months, ever since the war started, and he's got great videos on mapping of everything that's going on from both sides. I would say more mainly siding with Ukraine, but I don't know where I was going with that. He's got some great videos, so check him out. Speak the Truth, and we're gonna get into this.
I get track gates like very, very small. I get on it. I was like, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. So pull the trigger. Missile goes out. Flies.
Back for some back context, this guy, he specialized in the Javelins, the big the big giant things you put over your shoulder, not rocket launchers. The javelins, I'm pretty sure they usually, if not, it might be the HIMARS or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not that great at the military language, but I'm pretty sure you use this either once, and if not, then it's another thing. But huge giant thing that you put on your shoulder. It's actually way lighter than you think it would be, and the ammo is probably the heaviest part of the whole entire contraption. He's got guys that will literally carry some of the ammo for him, probably two other guys that carry ammo for him. They set up once they see a target, point out that target, and he's the one that fires and shoots the missile.
And then we're videoing drone footage. Drone is watching it, and it comes in and hits right in the front, like part of the tank, somewhere in here. Just boom! And you can 2 kilometers away. You're like, oh, geez, that's
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
good. Anyway, we're all like super happy. Bail out of there, and the drone operator's like, you missed. I was like,
Fuck.
and then
There's fucking $10,000 down the drain, bro.
watched the footage, and it looked like I did miss. And then, but it's kind of far away, so watched it again and again and again. And at that time, like, we need to get out of there because big old bang, flash, smoke, this whole thing, right? You can't stay in that position. So, what it turned out to be, well, I'm going to tell you this, what happened afterwards. So, we'll fire this missile. I get back down and I turn around to see who was holding me. And the guy who was holding me is not the guy who's holding me now. So, the guy who was holding me first was a conscript that just got drafted.
So I'm pretty sure what he's talking about is, I'm not sure, but when he actually shoots it, it sounds like somebody might have been holding him. I'm not sure, but I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, but I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about.
Like a couple months ago. So what happened was my other battle buddy, he was experienced warfighter in Ukraine, 8 years, right out of high school, 2014 started. He joined the Marines, went, fought, got blown up by EGS, which is the automatic grenade launcher thing. Just chopped the legs, got one shrapnel in his head.
That man's still standing and still fighting to this day.
Still couldn't pull out. He still has nightmares about that machine gun. He said he did not like it. It's his...
I would imagine so.
He could get shot by anything but that. He did not enjoy it.
Huh.
And a very experienced guy, very calm. Just so what he did when he saw his buddy holding me up, and he saw the back blast that's gonna get him, he swapped him for himself. So he told that guy to go out, safe distance. He turned around and had me stand on his shoulders. I can't feel. I just feel something soft. Like I don't know.
Okay, so I was right. He is literally holding him. This is what I was explaining. That is the javelin. I'm pretty sure this actually can be used again. There's another piece of equipment, I'm not exactly sure what it's called, that looks exactly like this, that they literally use once. They'll shoot it once and then throw it away like it's trash next to them, like it's a fucking piece of wrapper. And that costs like $500,000 or something. It's crazy. But yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at...
And so what he's saying is this guy he's fought with for a while is a conscript, it sounded like. And he started fighting with him a month ago. So he's brand new to the front lines. He's brand new to the fighting. And then this other guy who's been fighting since 2014. For those who didn't know, the Ukrainian and Russian war has been going on since 2014. It just hasn't been publicized in the Western media until just recently. He decided to say, yo, this is probably going to be too hairy for you. Let me pull you out from keeping my man's, the guy who's speaking right now, up with my arm, as you can see here in the picture. And you're going to stand back like 20 yards, make sure that there's no, so you don't have any shrapnel or any kind of misfire happen to you, which is heroic in itself, honestly. These guys are out here literally coming straight from their homes, like you and I. Like, think about you and I eating dinner, then one day, whoo, and deciding to go out there and risk your life for family and friends and neighborhood to secure your land. Like, it's just, it's awe-inspiring, honestly. It's great. I mean, it's not great, it's awful, but it's awe-inspiring.
At the enemies, like, I don't know what's going on.
I'm a little drunk. That was terribly explained, I know it was, but in my heart, I can feel what I'm saying.
So I ended up standing on his shoulders. He had a helmet on. He put goggles on. He braced like this. He knew that backblast is gonna come up, and he decided
exactly, just like I explained the backblast. That's why he decided to switch.
To take the hit himself, rather than watch his younger buddies, battle buddies, to take it. So that was pretty amazing.
Did it fry him pretty good?
He lost if you watch the video, that flame went right over his head like this.
Yeah.
Like top of his head and past him. He got deaf in one ear for half a day. Yeah, so he didn't have ear pro or nothing. But he knew what was gonna happen. Yeah. And because of this ditch, the backblast goes in the ditch and comes right back at you. Why would we take the same route? Because I had a shot, it didn't work, whatever the reasons were. Tri gates were too small, target was too small, whatever it is. So watch that video like 1,000 times.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Don't knock it on yourself, dog.
And we, based on reconnaissance,
the fact that you went out there from America
at that time is
heroic in itself.
That tank has never functioned since. It never moved. Not even the turret didn't move, and they saw other vehicles move. The tracks, that one did not move. And then we ended up just watching the video, whatever the video you can as much as you can zoom in possibly on it. You can see that it hit kind of in the front of the vehicle, somewhere in like around the driver's hatch. And it didn't explode like you wanted to explode, right? And there was like a turret didn't flap or anything. Right. But something happened to it from that strike to where, I don't know if it fried electronics, control, something. That sucker was dead.
So it wasn't it was a misfire, folks, but it wasn't a misfire. That shit hit.
It didn't look like it, but it was gone. So, and my team went out there and said, well, they might pull it out and repair it, so we're going to fucking shoot it again. So they went out to the same position with the new Javelin because where it hit it, it missed.
Okay, so I might be right that the Javelin is the thing you throw away, because he did just say a new Javelin.
Obviously did something to the tank, but also deteriorated some of the berm that they built in front of it. So opened up, you can see it more clearly. And they threw a missile right in it. Bam! And that turret flew up and like this whole thing. I have a picture.
Oh my god.
It is fun.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty comical. Check it up online. You can see all Russian tanks. I think they're the T-74s above T-74, T-70, or T-64, excuse me, T-72 tanks. If you watch any kind of explosion, their top part just goes, like, once they get hit, their top part just poo, like a fucking cartoon or some shit from Looney Tunes or some shit. It literally just goes, pops off like a mushroom top or something. It's crazy.
Fantastic. So, did it take 2 Javelins to kill a tank? Yes, it did. But did we have fun time doing it? Hell
yeah. It didn't cost you any money either.
Yeah.
It didn't cost him.
So I claim.
How does that not cost you any money? Each of those are like, I've got to be over 100,000 each.
Half a tank.
I think we'll give you half a tank. What? This was the one day before you left?
The one day before I left. The good Lord blessed us with a kill.
Yeah.
God. How long did it take you to get back? About 3 or 4 days to get back over when you
No, so flying back was easier.
Was it?
Honestly, yeah. Flying back was like 23 hours or so to get back. Yeah, going in took forever. And this whole COVID test nonsense garbage. My brother at that time, so the whole time battalion, that area that day, right? But there's that Camelin, and that's where I met that Ukrainian lady. I was in Germany flying to Poland, and that's where I saw her passport, and we got connected. So,
Ooh, Ukrainian love.
you know, it all worked out very well in the end.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. I don't know.
so.
He's got a wife. Or
So
he did.
before I left, I had a couple days. Like I had to leave that battalion, that area that day, right? But there's a counted time for travel because it takes forever to get out of the country, even. You know, with all the, you kind of have to tied up some loose ends, you know, clear our safe house and like things like that. So my brother at that time, so the whole time I'm fighting in the south, he's fighting in the north because that's where the enemies were.
So he's got, I don't know if it's his blood, but he's got a brother out there in the exact same war fighting too. That's crazy.
Enemies pulled back from the north, and he did the same thing that Kiev folks did. He went to his battalion and he said, nothing going on here. I want to go where the fight is.
So just for some backstory there, he was in Kiev, which is a huge city in Ukraine. They kind of pushed away the invaders. They did push away the invaders from Kiev, and the group that he was with, they were like, yo, we're going to the front lines in the north. Or not the north. I think they went to the east, but they went to another section of Ukraine where there was a lot of fighting going on instead of just sitting in Kiev doing nothing, basically. And so he's saying that's what his brother did. His brother did the same thing that he did.
So he detached from them. They gave him permission. Took forever, but they did. They let him go, and he attached himself to a position that fight in Donetsk area. So right there in the heat of it all, he just joined.
Donetsk was very hot.
So
about a month and a half ago.
So he was in the east. I was in the south. I found out where he was. We had spotty comms, but you know we're both fighting, so we had other things to do. And
Cool.
so I talked
They're
to
in
Mark,
communication.
And I said, Mark,
That's
I wanna go see
crazy.
my brother. And he goes, Indan, that's mission critical. We're doing it. So we got together. We drove his painted ambulance. Battle bus is what we call it. It's a fantastic vehicle, by the way, made by Mercedes. This is awesome. We thought for sure. Well, we thought for sure
Mercedes, German, right? German engineering.
we weren't going to live to the end of the SOP. Then we also thought for sure that the vehicle isn't going to live till the end. Then we bought a
It's living German.
dirt bike as a backup exfil vehicle that we carried inside in case that thing gets blown up. You can hop on a dirt bike and bail. Both of us knew how to ride, so we had that as a backup. Never had to use it, luckily.
Like I said, German engineering.
So we hop in the van. We drive to Zaporizhia. That's how you pronounce it.
There you go.
Zaporizhia.
Zaporizhia. I don't even know if I got that right. My man's speak the truth here has been probably butchering that for months.
Yep. So we drove to Zaporizhia, and since everything we did in Ukraine was very efficient in terms of our time spent. You know, there's hardly a day that we spent just doing nothing. There we had a reset day. We had 4 ops back to back, and then we had to reset, like do laundry, you know, and take a shower and things like that, because the city was cut off from the water. But most of the time it was very efficient. If we're not fighting, we're training somebody. You know, if we had a half a day, I'll call and say, hey, I have a half a day, and the battalion commander was like, hey, I got 16 guys need the javelin training. I'd be like, come up to my place. You know, they show up, we'll plug in that battery, motorcycle battery, we'll open the window, and we'll watch the city for 4 hours and train them how to navigate this thing, right? So always doing something. So on the way to my brother, the middle point was Zaporizhia, and the guy's like, hey, well, you trained one of the teams from Zaporizhia. Now, since you're going to be driving past that, why don't you just stop by and train the rest of them? Great. So we got contacts. We went out there, met with them. They gave us this classroom. I have a picture of that when I'm drawing on the whiteboard how to kill tanks. So
how to kill tanks.
Ended up training a unit there. Like 20. It was a surreal moment. One, both of us were alive. Another thing, both of us were civilian in the previous life, and now we're combat veterans.
That's crazy. Just to explain, like, you can, I haven't done it myself, but you can live a lifetime in 2 years just by being a soldier in war. The amount of stress and different things that you go through during that time period is something that you can't imagine unless you've been through it yourself. And I have not been through it myself, but I know for a fact, just from little trauma things compared to that yeah, you just amazing.
And we're also both orphans. Our parents had passed away, so he was not married, didn't have kids. I was married at that time still. I had 3 kids. But for him, he didn't have anybody but me. So it was a good moment. You know, I remember we met, and the way the things were, I only had 2 hours. I only had 2 hours to spare before I had to leave to get to Poland and go go home. So that's all we had. After 4 years of not seeing each other, in the middle of the war, we had 2 hours. And I talked to him. I have a picture of that too. And yeah, the village was bombed. Behind us, you can see houses. About 300 meters past that is where explosions were going on, because their artillery, Ukrainian artillery, was working on the Russian positions.
You don't have time to take a
selfie
selfie
return fire.
in war.
And we just stood out there in the open and not giving two shits about it. After a while, you just get used to it, to the point where it's just what it is, you know.
Is he still there?
Yeah, oh yeah. So they're rotating it out. They have like a month long. They fight for a month. They reset for like a week or two, and then they go back. And they usually go back to different areas. I don't know why Ukraine does that, but you know, you fight in one area, you get to know it well, and then you get rotated out, and you go to somewhere else where you've never been.
It's not really a bad thing if you think about it. It kills the ability to be complacent. Like, oh, I've drove over this area multiple times. On the 30th time, it was rigged, and you can blow up. I mean, that's, you know, that is. I mean, I'm not. I don't think
it's a good strat. Okay,
I think
that is insightful right there for any war people. War generals, listen to my man speak the truth. He's speaking the truth.
And
personally, I think that is actually not a bad strategy, because
it's really not.
Rest and relaxation, that's a real thing. So you bring him back for a couple weeks.
It is.
Kick him off somewhere. Now,
you think about it. Everybody's been to school in this chat, and I hope you have been to school. Those first couple days when you're in school, it's the nerves. You're on top of your game. You want to look your game. You want to fucking act as best as you can in front of everybody, because it's your first few days. After those first few days pass, it kind of becomes routine. It kind of becomes, you can kind of like slip up, let yourself slide a little bit. Maybe you didn't do your hair as best as you wanted to this morning on the 7th day of school. It's the same idea with war. Switching it up sounds like actually a really good idea.
I would assume you probably want to kick them off in the same AO type area, you know, because the surroundings are going to be the same, but now they're looking at different roads, and it's, I don't know. Right. It probably helps with complacency.
Okay.
Oh, he's loving it, huh?
Yep. So,
what, is this the back of the? This is the back of the thing.
That's the battle bus.
Yeah, that's cool.
The ambulance.
That's the battle bus.
And so he's still over there, and he's loving every second of it, huh?
So
this is about as Ukrainian as it gets, right there. Like that AK that's kind of pieced together. That's how it's so Ukrainian.
Yeah, a little bit of mixed match uniforms and stuff. And
it works though. It works.
Body armor. So I had some good Turkish armor that I found. So my first set. So when
I found off a body. Damn. I mean,
I went as a tourist. In terms of, I didn't bring any kit with me. And because I didn't do it, so I'm a competitive shooter, right? I have a lot of things, tactical speaking, right? I have a lot of furniture for ARs, AKs, sniper rifles, like optics, binoculars, rangefinders, the whole thing, right? Body armor as well. Right. I didn't know what I could not bring. I didn't know what the laws were. I didn't want to get arrested at the border and not even accomplish my mission.
Right.
So I came there looking like a normal civilian person. So everything I got there, I either got from the military or I bought myself. So I had a contact in Poland
So
who
not
sourced
off a
stuff
dead
for
body.
me, drove across the border, gave to another person, another lady who hopped on the train, drove for, rode for 12 hours to get to my place. I met her and got this backpacks of gear. Anti-jamming, like GPS jamming systems, ineffective.
I patch.
Yeah.
Tell me that.
Yeah. That you were seeing, it actually
thing on the inside of it.
That
was it gives me goosebumps. Everything out there. Do a lot of those tanks have thermals? Their tanks?
That's one of those complacency things, right? A lot of the things we treated as if they don't, and I know units that have lost people because of it.
Because they did have thermals.
And also some of those where they detect laser.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because we have laser guided rockets. We had a unit that used it on. They're trying to shoot a tank with the laser guided, and they had that system where the turret identifies it, turns to them, and then they ended up losing people because of it. So,
right, because if you didn't understand that, I'm sorry if you did. You can skip through it. Well, you can't skip because it's live, but basically they have an automated system on top of their tank which will detect something with a laser sight, it sounds like, or a laser on a target. So if something is laser targeting the tank is going to know that's happening, and it will shoot down anything that is coming towards the tank that would effectively hit the tank. But what he's saying is, it sounds like that system didn't work in a certain instance, and because it had been working, the people inside that tank became complacent, believed that this automated system is going to save their lives, and it didn't in this instance.
It's
Zaporizhia.
Zapsuri. I don't say it quite right, folks. I love you. Speak the truth. I've been watching you forever. I hope you don't care that I made fun of your little mess up there, because it's awesome.
Line that goes from there to Avika. Is that how you say it? Avika. AVDIIKA.
Avdiivka.
See, I know where the areas are. I have a hard time pronouncing them. I'm probably just like every other American over there.
If you pronounce
if I didn't know what he was saying, I would be pronouncing it the same way.
Terrible at Lysychansk.
Lysychansk.
So from Zaporizhia all the way over to Avdiivka. Okay. All the way through there really hasn't shifted. Mm-hmm. It hasn't moved really. Is it the same type of terrain that you basically look over near Kirsten? All farmlands, open fields,
There's
trees.
more hills there.
So why aren't they moving at all?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I don't want to pretend to be a military expert in that area, but I can tell you that, again, it goes into that motivation of their troops versus us, but it also goes into Ukrainians are very, very angry at this whole thing. So
I would be too.
No matter how much equipment Russians have,
I mean, if the Canadians came in to where I am living and was like, "Yo, this land is mine. I'm gonna shoot your mom and dad," I don't think I would be sitting here playing video games. I think I'd be out there doing things to get these people off of my fucking land. I'm sorry, but Canadians, y'all won't fuck with me. I'm just kidding.
How many people they're gonna throw? Ukraine will never surrender, and they'll never give up, and they act like it, and the Russians can feel it.
I'm so glad I'm not on the Russian side of things. I know because I got to deal with reading all this stuff, making these videos. I got to read so much, and I read the Russian side of stuff at times. I'm like, God, these guys. Have you ever watched any Russian state TV at all?
This man, we've watched way too much Russian state TV.
Have you watched any of them?
The West is the enemy, and the Ukrainians are Nazis. I mean, it's all the same.
It's the same. I'm saying the rhetoric that comes out of their mouths sometimes, like their main guy. Ridiculous. I can't say his name because I don't know how to say it. Same guy's on it every day. Last week, he literally told their guys, their civilian population, if they're not for the war to help the cause, like make the equipment and stuff like that, they should shoot themselves. I literally said that on TV. Like literally said.
Imagine Biden comes out on TV and is like, Americans, if you guys are not helping making equipment for the war, you should go shoot yourself. Like, That's insane, bro. That's some fucking, excuse my language, Hitler shit, bro. That is crazy. That's in 2022. That is happening today, right now. People on national TV, not national, on their state TV are telling civilians to shoot themselves if they don't help with the war.
Like, I could not fathom someone's telling you that.
I
Like,
can't
it's like
either.
their mouthpiece is telling them that. If he's saying that, he's telling, like, just literally shoot yourself. What are those? How are the soldiers, like the Russian soldiers themselves? How are they treated? I guess it's going to depend on every single chain of command and which ones are which. But
Right.
have you guys heard of them actually? That's the best way to put it, I guess. Shooting deserters. That is the best way to put it.
That's the rumor. Yep. I've never seen them do that necessarily. Our fighting was at the distance.
Yeah.
But that is the rumor.
Okay, so
that they don't
so they're almost
deserters.
so they have no reason to push forward, but they have a reason not. They
have
Yeah.
every
they're
reason
kinda
not to go back
that's what I'm
home.
asking. So they're pretty much just stuck in certain areas. But over in the east, right now, over the last week or so, in that area I was just talking about,
I don't know if everybody understood that. They're saying that people that don't want to fight anymore on the Russian side, if they try to go home and desert the front lines, they're getting killed by their own superiors.
Pisky, I think I said that right. It's Pisky. So Pisky, all around there, if you go north, I don't know how many kilometers, but pretty much all those major towns along that line that's been held since 2014. Now, over the last week, they've now just started to attempt to actually push through, but they've been struggling so bad because it's built
They've
up.
been dug in for 8 years.
Yeah, so I'm saying they're like, that's the other thing. A lot of people don't realize that when you're looking at this stuff and they're like, why aren't they moving real quick? Well, you're like,
So he's going to explain it, but he's kind of explaining it a little fast for those who don't understand. These Ukrainian militants have been in certain spots since 2014. So you're talking 8 years. They've been in the same area. Like if you live in a house, they've been in that same neighborhood that you live in. They've been in their neighborhoods for 8 years, digging up trenches, digging up walls of defense, making sure they have a good line of sight for hundreds of yards, and that's why it's been taking the Russian military so they haven't made much ground. If anything, they've lost ground.
The last 8 years, they have literal lines, like not just one long trench line. They have multiple on top of each other. Like you know how hard it is to get through just one of them, and then you got to think about it. Then you get I don't see anyone on the eastern side moving like in a very fast pace at all ever.
No, and even that village where we're operating out of, even though we held that line, and Ukrainian troops ended up after I left, like in a week or two, they ended up pushing them back even more further out. But when I was out there and I drove this one road, kind of a long freeway in and out, on that side of the freeway, the Ukrainians were digging in there for months. And I'm talking, we were like 10 kilometers away. And they're digging in this position and setting up a firing positions for the tanks because it's this highway, and in front of it, just wide open field for about 4 kilometers.
They're already prepped.
Right. And they were prepped. We're still defending that village.
That's why
I'm
it's
telling you,
really
10 kilometers
hard.
away.
But I mean, also
there's that line they
a lot
built.
of reasons.
You come closer, there's another line.
Same with like it's kind of parallel to the Afghan war, or I don't even know what the war was called, but for the Americans, a lot of American troops that went out there. I've talked to a few people that have actually fought in the Afghan or Iraq war, and all of them all said, "What are we doing here? Like, why are we fighting?" At the end of their tour there, they've all said the same thing, and from what I'm getting, it's the same kind of feeling for Russian troops that are fighting in this war. They don't really understand why they're fighting, why they're taking land away from people that have lived there their whole lives. Like, they don't really know why they're doing it. And if you don't have your heart in what you're doing, it's going to be a lot harder for you to accomplish such a big goal. If, for example, on the opposite side, the Ukrainians, who have everything invested in it, they have their families, their home, their livelihoods. So, yeah.
There's a whole battalion full of people with shovels and excavators, like
kinda like-
cat excavators. Just
Oh, really?
building
I've seen
stuff.
the videos of those. Yeah, I've seen the videos of them actually building. They're literally just farmers out there. Like, we literally have farmers that aren't even a part of it, literally digging trenches and swarming. That was over in Dnipro.
Dnipro.
I said it right? Look at that score, one for the team over here.
Dnipro.
Well, that
Let's
you got
go.
to think about that as well. How far out are they built out for just that one itself, or Siversk, or those areas that they Sloviansk area is how do you say it? Sloviansk.
Slavyansk.
So that area
Sloviansk.
they haven't even been able to touch that one yet. Like, imagine how fortified that son of a bitch is.
And there's all these lines coming closer to the city.
They're
too,
not.
like
They're
Mykolaiv.
not getting to Kyiv anymore.
Dude,
I
it
mean,
would
they
be
might get
impossible for them
there.
to take Mykolaiv.
What about
But no.
Bakhmut? Bakhmut? How do you say
Bakhmut, I
it? See,
don't-
God, dude, I'm
Bakhmut.
crushing it with the names.
Bakhmut. Yeah.
Bakhmut.
Bakhmut.
But that's all hills and around Solar.
There are hills.
It's tons of hills over
He's
there.
like, bruh, I'm gonna be nice. I'm just gonna repeat it, but you did not say that right. It's not Bakhmut. It's Bakhmut.
Is
It's good and bad. The hills are good and bad.
Well, this has been Kurz. Thank you for tuning in today. Today's been a random stream. Again, this is Speak the Truth. You can check him out on YouTube. I believe he does have a podcast too. But it's right here, Speak the Truth. His URL might not make it into the description, so it is right here, Speak the Truth. You can type that in on your search bar on YouTube. Check him out. He's got up-to-date videos on what's happening in Ukraine, along with some other stuff in the world. And this man here, the one in the white on the left side, he is a veteran of the Iraq War. And obviously this American on the right side, I don't know if I said right the first time, but on the right side, the one in the dark shirt, he just came back from a tour in Ukraine. He is an American. So, yeah, these guys are great. Check them out if you have time to see what's happening in current events in your world or in our world. And yeah, this has been Kurz. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today. I will be back hopefully sooner than later. I am going to be coming to more of a actual